Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad and Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555. Henry Cavill will replace Daniel Craig as the next James Bond exclusive. I don't care if you don't believe me. I don't need to prove where I got this from. I know it. I'm bringing it to you. And if you want to be a twat about it, it's up to you. James Bond is in serious trouble. James Bond needs to stop apologising for being James Bond. Daniel Craig has been a great James Bond. There's no question about that. Casino Royale is one of my favourite blockbuster movies and one of my favourite Bond movies. A Quantum of Solace had its heart in the right place, but its execution in the wrong place. Skyfall was a brilliant film, not as good as everyone said it was. It was pretty much a Dark Knight rip-off without the good cliffhanger ending, right? But it was a really, really good film. And of course, Spectre was one of the worst James Bond films ever made. And you know what? It could have indeed been treated like the last Daniel Craig movie. So I wasn't very interested in the next Daniel Craig James Bond movie. So it was announced we were getting No Time to Die, we were going to get a great cast, we were going to get a great actor playing the villain. I was excited. And then Danny Boyle was announced as the director, and I thought, wow, this is sensational. I've got a lot of time for Danny. I've spoken to him in the past. He's a really great guy. He's a really great director. But then it was announced that because of creative differences, he would be moving on. Now, Danny wasn't very impressed by Eon Productions or Barbara Broccoli or Michael G. Wilson, but especially not impressed with Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig, I'm hearing, is the reason that Danny Boyle wasn't directing No Time to Die. All of a sudden, we got a brand new director, a really impressive director. So we went along and we carried on, and all of a sudden, it was announced that Phoebe Waller-Bridge would be writing some gags in the movie. Very, very curious. Not that it's not common practice to bring in a comedian to do this, because we've seen it done in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They actually get comedy writers to put in gags, and it actually works for them. A lot of the stuff they put in is actually quite funny. So she was brought in. But also, very quickly, we were getting a new female character who was going to take James Bond's 007 codename, which for me, obviously is very, very passive-aggressive, and this definitely was Daniel Craig's idea and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's idea. So she wasn't just writing gags. So all of a sudden, you saw the film that was going to finally apologise for being James Bond. Listen, I'm just a straight alpha male. I'm probably from the planet toxic masculinity. I don't deny these things. I have the male gaze. I don't deny any of this. But imagine going in to buy a packet of fruit pastels, if you know those sweets, and you get a packet of refreshers instead. Hopefully you know what those sweets are as well. You would be very disappointed. So imagine my reaction when I got access to No Time to Die. I'm not going to tell you how. Again, I have seen the film. And I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed even some of the storytelling. But the element that was so wrong was the way they tried to apologise for James Bond being James Bond, apologising to the extreme left and feminists for being James Bond. So the way they did this was by giving this female actor, this female character, this female 00 agent, the 007. She enjoys, let's just say, putting James Bond down, and James Bond pretty much takes it. These are the issues with this film. I'm not going to give you real spoilers, but I'm going to tell you this lets the film down. The film, this film is going to get some very interesting reactions. I don't think it's a terrible film, but the way it lets itself down is the way it apologises for being James Bond. And as I just said, apologises for every film it's ever done. Listen, women should not be portrayed as sexual objects. We all know that. But James Bond is James Bond, and that's how these films have always made money. He's normally good looking. He normally sleeps with a lot of women, although since the Timothy Dalton era, he's only slept with 2 women, one random and one that he actually falls in love with. Of course, you don't see her again. It makes more sense with what they're doing with the latest James Bond female, where she was Inspector, and she was in No Time to Die as well. I liked her performance, and I liked what they did with her, because she's the core element of the actual story. But then again, some people may say she was more of the focus than James Bond was. Now, of course, there were rumours that James Bond has a child in this film. I will not clarify or deny those rumours. Listen, it's a very, very interesting film. This film has more character development and story development than anything in the history of James Bond. It's a very interesting film, and it's not totally bad, but I think it's going to leave a very bad taste in many people's mouths, because I know for a fact that Danny Boyle was going to make a great film. Now, you're all going to have to decide for yourselves in October if this is a great James Bond film, if this is a great final bow. Now listen, something recently happened with James Bond. Amazon bought MGM. Now, Amazon didn't just buy MGM for James Bond. They bought it for all the IPs. Their plan is to reboot and remake everything that MGM have ever made. I suspect that Amazon and Netflix are thinking of, creating their own cinemas as well. So I don't think it's a case of killing cinema. I think it's a case of streaming services branding and owning cinemas. It's very convenient for these companies that the pandemic's happened and a lot of movie theatre companies have shut down. Imagine Netflix cinemas, imagine Amazon cinemas. That's the rumour, by the way, and I believe it. So, Amazon have clearly seen No Time to Die. Amazon are not very impressed with No Time to Die, Barbara Broccoli or Michael G. Wilson, and the decisions that were made during the production of No Time to Die. As I say, Daniel Craig has been given too much power within this franchise, and when it came to bringing in the Skyfall director, brilliant decision, and unfortunately he stayed for Spectre. Now, again, he was powerless to stop a bad movie. He directed it well, but at the end of the day, as I say, Daniel Craig has had too much power. Now, we all remember during the premiere and marketing for Spectre, Daniel Craig said he'd rather slash his own wrists than be James Bond again. Well, they stroked his ego, gave him more money, and he came back. Barbara Broccoli's still saying she'd love to persuade him to do more. I think that would be a bad idea. And now with Amazon there, I think Amazon understand that the big problem with James Bond is Daniel Craig. He's a great James Bond, but you know what? He's aged now, it's time for him to go, and he's just taking the franchise the wrong way because they've allowed him to make real decisions in the direction of James Bond. And we all know the extremist leftist kind of decisions he's made. Now, of course, he's made statements about fans saying things about Phoebe Waller-Bridge and the direction they're going in No Time to Die. And he's obviously defended that, blah, 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 calling out people like these people who live in bubbles normally do. And so, why Henry Cavill? Well, I don't know the process here, but I do know it's a process that Amazon were very much a part of, because even though they've only just officially bought it, behind the scenes things were being developed a long time ago. And it's interesting really, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson claiming they've had great talks with Amazon. And this film, No Time to Die, will be released in cinemas, even though Amazon is a streaming service. But you can bet your bottom dollar either it will be streaming on Amazon for some kind of fee, or at the same time as the theatrical release, or very quickly, probably 4 weeks after it's released in theatres, or something like that. This is why they've bought, MGM. So as I said, why Henry Cavill? Why does Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson and Amazon believe Henry Cavill is the man to take over? Listen, in the past, we really haven't gone for big names. Sean Connery wasn't a big name. Roger Moore did the same, but he wasn't that famous. Timothy Dalton was a theatrical actor, theatrically trained actor who had been in, Flash Gordon, so he was well known for that. Then we had Pierce Brosnan, who done Remington Steele, but not particularly famous. Daniel Craig had done Layer Cake, but he wasn't that famous, but he was known, a very controversial appointment, because a lot of people like me believe that Pierce Brosnan put down the water PPK far too early, and I think a lot of people agree with me on that. Now, basically, they got rid of him because they felt he was too old, but his last movie, Die Another Day, made a lot of fucking money. Whether you like the invisible car or not, or the unrealistic situations in the film, I still think he had a good story, and I think he could have done at least 3 more. look at him now. He's about to play Dr. Fate in Black Adam, one of the biggest characters in the DC universe. So, Henry Cavill will be the next James Bond. You can go to the betting shop and put a bet on that. I'm bringing you this exclusive news because it's happening. So again, why Henry Cavill? Henry Cavill has proved to be one of the few movie stars left in the entertainment industry. Now, he's not like the old-fashioned movie stars because he's very down to earth. He's a geek, he's a nerd, he loves comics, he's a gamer. So he's one of us. So look, he would have grown up watching James Bond, just like he grew up watching Superman. So he loves Superman. Listen, by the way, this doesn't change anything with him playing Superman. I believe he still will do many, many cameos. And finally one day, when he's got the time, of course, maybe he'll do a movie. But the cameos are happening. Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, you will see him. And maybe you'll see him, I think you will see him in the Flash movie and Wonder Woman 3, as we've discussed many a time. So if you're a Superman fan like me and a fan of Henry's Superman, you don't need to worry about that. You should rejoice at this news. So the moment I realised that Henry Cavill would be a great James Bond is when I saw him in Mission Impossible Fallout. They bulked him up so much. I'd never seen Henry so bulked up. But it was the aggressive nature of his face expressions and his dialogues and his performance. And I thought, this guy can do anything. I wasn't sure at first. I hadn't seen him in very much. I didn't know if he'd be typecast. And Henry hasn't been typecast. He's played Geralt in The Witcher. You know, he's going to play the Highlander. He's going to be in some kind of spy thriller soon as well. You know, he's played and he's going to play a lot of different roles. So it's not like he's played it safe. Of course, he's hired for his physicality. He's a good-looking man. He's got a great jaw. But he's a very good actor, despite what Grace Randolph says. Do I think this is a good choice? Listen, fans have been asking for this for a very long time. He will be a great James Bond. There's no question about that. And he's very well spoken as well. So he's got the natural kind of James Bond accent, kind of Doctor Who accent, if you want. So there's no issues, because a lot of people are traditionalists when it comes to James Bond. Now, will they, what's the term, woke him off? I don't think so. I think that not Die Another Day, No Time to Die, that's what it's called. I think No Time to Die and the reaction towards it is going to be a lesson for Eon, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, especially Amazon. Amazon are not the kind of company that will want to mess about with James Bond fans. They want to embrace the fans, they want to please the fans, and believe you me, this is why this decision has been taken, because Henry Cavill is A-list, he is A-list, whether you like it or not. He is a great actor, he is the right person to play James Bond. A lot of people talking about Idris Elba. Now, a few years ago, I would have liked that Idris Elba. I mean, I know he's approaching probably 50 now. I'd still think he'd make a great Bond. But because of No Time to Die, you don't really... Probably they didn't want any kind of controversial decisions. I don't think Idris Elba as James Bond is controversial. He's got the physicality. I love the way he talks. He would have been a great aggressive James Bond. I would have had no issue with Idris being Bond. There's a lot of great people. I just think Henry Cavill is perfect. Let's look at Henry Cavill, his qualities, his physicality, the way he speaks, the way he conducts himself. We know he looks great in a tux. Listen, this is going to be perfect. And Henry can put personality. What I love about Henry, he can play like the pure Superman, but he can also put personality into his characters. And we've seen that. So yes, I think this is an excellent choice. And as a James Bond fan, I'm very, very excited about this. Now, you shouldn't expect this to be announced anytime soon. Now, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson are saying that no decision has been made, but this decision was made a while back. They looked at it. Also, now I didn't see this when I saw No Time to Die, but you could see they could do something very, very wacky that they haven't done before, something that I predicted in the past, that maybe we'll see the new James Bond in No Time to Die. They can squeeze something in there. Maybe you'll see him in a post-credit scene. We could start getting James Bond post-credit scenes, because this is obviously the era of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the DCEU also do it. I mean, post-credit scenes go, you know, Kevin Feige didn't invent them. We saw it in Masters of the Universe with Skeletor. I'll be back. And so what about the Green Lantern movie as well? I had a post-credit scene of Sinestro, which was awesome. What a shame we didn't get more of them. I know everyone won't agree with me, that's just my personal opinion. So don't be surprised if Henry Cavill shows up in No Time to Die for a little cameo, maybe in a post-credit scene. So that's it. Henry Cavill is super. Of course Henry Cavill is Superman. Henry Cavill will be the new James Bond. This is something no one else is going to tell you. This is a fact. This is going to happen. When I look at the success of Henry Cavill and I see the roles he's getting right now, this is a no-brainer. Because after No Time to Die, and people are not going to be happy with the film for certain elements of it, it'll be interesting what people think of the entirety of the movie, and I can't wait to see and hear people's reactions. But at the end of the day, this is the perfect casting decision. There's no one really who's not going to like this. This will be a new era for James Bond. And the other question is, how long can Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli hold on to James Bond? Because now Amazon have got it, if they don't see good results from their ideas, and I do think they need new writers as well. I mean, they keep on using the same ones and they have done for many years now. I think James Bond needs new creativity. And when I say creativity, I don't mean Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who actually is a really good writer, and I don't have an issue with Phoebe. I like her, she's a multi-talented lady. But the problem is, if you're a feminist and you're injecting feminist ideals and commentary in a James Bond film, you're going to bankrupt the franchise and it's not going to work. So please comment down below. What do you think? Are you excited about Henry Cavill being cast as James Bond? Did you want someone else? Let me know who else you'd like to see in the role. Bad luck. Henry Cavill will be the next James Bond, and I couldn't be happier about it. I'll see you in the next video. At Movies TV Mad on Twitter, at Movies TV Mad 555 on Instagram. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.